Hello everyone, my name is Trittany and I'm the reader here at the Crown and Castle Collective, where we're all kings and queens of our own kingdom that we call life. It's a very turbulent year we are in. We are, about to kind of pull things together at the end of 2020 here and really finish off the year strong. It's been a crazy year. It's been a fast year. I love doing these monthly horoscope videos. I feel like I get really clear, concise, consistent answers throughout the reading. So I really like doing these. I haven't done them for a couple of months just because I really don't get that many views on them yet, which I understand. My channel's growing, so I really appreciate you being here and being interested in your horoscope overlook. I'm really excited for your guys' reading. All of my goodies and, descriptions are in the description box for personal readings from me, and as well as where to find me on social media. If you do subscribe to this video, I deeply appreciate it as my channel is slowly growing organically. You can vote to see what kind of videos I do post. So if this, other than horoscope style videos, you can definitely have a say in what gets posted next. So without further ado, we are going to start for the air signs. We do have Libra starting in the early month of October. October 1st, we do have a full moon in Aries, as well as October 31st. We have 2 full moons in 1 month, so this is known as a blue moon. It goes by many other names. There's, I believe the one on the 1st is the harvest moon because it's closest to the autumn equinox. Regardless, y'all are having 2 full moons in the month of October, just like everyone else. The first one is in Libra, but it's in Aries, the full moon is. October 31st, that full moon is in Taurus. So I feel like there is a shift throughout your month. I feel like you guys are already, probably picking up on the full moon in Aries, bringing light to a lot of conflicting feelings that you might have. And by the end of October, I think you guys might need to prioritize, or, you might be more into that prioritizing energy of Taurus as far as, what do you deserve? What is best for you? How to love yourself through tough, hurtful situations, okay? All right, so I'm gonna take a sip of my tea and then we're gonna get started. Okay, so your overall energy, air signs, for the month of October of 2020. We have number 46, Splendor. And so 46... Okay, I had to add up the math, sorry. 46 equals 10, and it's Splendor. So I feel like you guys are coming to a very big conclusion in your heart space with your relationships with others, in the relationship with yourself that you have at a very deep level. And I feel like a lot of this is coming from shadow work that maybe you didn't even intentionally start. I feel like this is something that's getting stirred up between your relationships, whether that be with family, friends, or intimate relationships. I feel like you guys are each going to be feeling it on different levels. But this card actually talks about autumn as well, like the season. And if you're in the down under, of course, you might be going into, I guess that would be like spring or going into summer, I guess. Sorry, I'm up in, the other hemisphere. This isn't a geography lesson, okay? All right, so this does talk about seasons changing, though. And so when seasons do change, things freeze up, they die off. So this is about, leaving behind what no longer serves you and only dealing with things that bring you peace and gratitude and just fill your life with such positive energies. Of course, everyone has their down days, so there might be, people who are your rock, through and through, but then sometimes they just do that one thing that you just, just ticks you off and you're like, ugh. But, this is noticing those red flags that may be flying too consistently with one or more persons or things in your life that you really just need to drop. And if you do follow that, you can expect to feel a lot differently in your chest area throughout the month of October. You could feel a heaviness in your chest throughout the beginning of the month, and as you move through October and hopefully, drop those things, you might be able to finally breathe again. Clarifying that, we do have the 2 of Earth. It says breath. So this talks about, again, only taking in what serves you and exhaling what does not fit your vibration. So again, there's a lot of green coming out first right away, so your heart space is definitely activated. This could be in your physical relationships as well. You could be having throat respiratory issues are a big problem right now, of course. So y'all might be working through those. I'm feeling it already in the beginning of this reading. I did not feel like this earlier. It's heavy, okay? You guys could be afraid to speak your truth, say your truth, or have a conversation with, someone that you love, a job that you love, someone that you respect and feel deeply for. Even if it's not a romantic conversation, there could be something just heavy on your chest that you definitely need to talk about and release. And I mean, yeah, I feel like that's causing a lot of anxiety for some of you. You could even be getting like dizziness or like, what do you call it? Like when you feel like you disconnect from your body almost. Because like I feel like your breath is completely off, so you could be getting lightheaded and dizzy. Just be cautious of that. Also, when we look at these two cards together, as far as releasing, and we also see breath here, so a lot of you, I do feel like there is an addiction kind of situation throughout this whole reading. So whether that's an addiction towards codependency, a relationship, eating habits, or even like chemical addictions, I feel like with this breath, some of you who actually, you might be quitting smoking. That could be like a significant thing for some of you, or like trying to quit bad habits like that. Alcohol addictions, chemical dependencies, codependencies in relationships and toxic relationships. We'll get into those. Because it's something that does come out throughout the reading, and you guys are definitely not the only signs who are dealing with these energies, in October and in these past couple of months. So don't feel bad. So, moving on. Your greatest challenge, your biggest challenge here for the month of October, we do have Warrior Woman. What would you do if you weren't afraid? No, if you weren't afraid, what would you do? Okay. So, and if you're masculine, don't take offense to this Warrior Woman. This is, someone who, historically speaking. So a woman would typically be suppressed in, being a warrior and stuff like that. So you might feel like you are in a losing battle, or that like you put yourself down a lot in your situation that you're trying really, really hard in. But I feel like you keep on suppressing yourself only because you're afraid of this conversation, of this outcome, or facing this fear that you do have. So just be careful of that. You could be your greatest enemy or your biggest enemy throughout October. Especially if you're dealing with a situation that you haven't brought to the other person's attention fully. So just be careful of that. Especially if you're internalizing a lot of it, which with this breath card, I do feel like you are. So clarifying the Warrior Woman, we have again another earth sign. We have the 8 of Earth, exploration. So again, this Warrior Woman is someone who's trying to like persevere, and there's so many options and there's so many pathways, but there's also a lot of dead ends. So your greatest challenge is, not beating yourself up if you're not making physical progress or tangible progress. I feel like you guys could be having a little bit of avoidance within this combativeness within yourself. You could be avoiding your problems, or, turning a cheek, looking the other way, making excuses, because you are afraid to maybe step up to this battle fully and actually fight it. But I feel like, that's not to downplay you or, make you sound cowardly. I feel like this is a big change for you guys. And it's something that's, it's taken your breath away. It's got you anxious. It's got you scared. And I just feel like you're slowly coming to terms with this change that's going to have to happen in your relationships, not only with yourself, but with other people. And Spirit is also saying too, for a lot of you that have this codependency going on, perhaps with like relationships as well, I feel like a lot of you are afraid to stand up for yourself and maybe cut the cord with this Warrior Woman and actually explore other options. But if you look at this card, there are so many other gems hidden in other pathways. There's not just one answer for you, okay? Let's see. And I mean, that is your biggest challenge, so it could be hard for you to, you know, see other approaches to your situation or other options that, you know, your life may have for you, whether that's in your career and relationships and health. The way that you approach these things could be a lot different, and they could be new, unexplored ways, and they could be scary for you. So you could be, you know, kind of analytical with how you approach it, but also kind of, again, suppressing yourself in your own way. All right, so moving on. So your greatest accomplishment for October of 2020, or where you're succeeding most at. We do have this card of diligence. So again, first when I look at this card, I get perspective, because, you know, he's flying way above these fields at a higher vantage point. And he's kind of coasting, you know, because the clouds are rolling by. So I feel like your greatest accomplishment is every now and then, when you're not feeling too overwhelmed, you know, with everything that is going on, you're actually able to sit down, slow down, reconnect with your breathing. Okay, so some of you might be trying to get into more meditative states. I feel like as the seasons are changing, you might be taking a step outside and actually enjoying some fresh air that might help really ground you, but in a sense, you know, give your vibration up a level so you're able to feel like you're almost floating. Or you could just feel lighter, of course, and you might have a little bit of that perspective of being patient with yourself throughout these changes. This diligence talks about a dry period. So like fields, like there's a seasons where you actually don't plant anything, so the soil has a chance to regenerate itself. And so therefore, when you do plant something in the following season, you know, you actually have a great yield, or you have great results. So I actually am going to read the definition for this bad boy, because I really love this deck. It's the Sacred Destiny deck. I really recommend it. Their descriptions in here are amazing, and I like their artwork. Y'all didn't know you went to Reading Rainbow, huh? Alright, so it's called a fallow field. I'll hold it up for y'all. So it says, traditionally, fields were left fallow, unfarmed for extended periods of time to allow the soil to recover and rebalance its nutrients, to break disease and pest cycles, and to provide a haven for wildlife. Letting fields lie fallow meant that the subsequent crops were much healthier and more vibrant. Engaging in this time-honored process takes patience and diligence, but the results are worth the wait. There's also another page that says, the sacred landscape wants you to know there are times in life to step forward and take risks, but there are other times to be patient, step carefully and slowly, and know that the benefits you will gain in the future will be worth it. Be attentive, meticulous, and persistent. Use this time to plan for action steps in the future. Be diligent and consistent at each step as you move forward. By doing so, you will harvest remarkable results in the years ahead. This is not the time for instant gratification. Your diligence will pay off in the future tenfold. This is the time for deliberate organization. Clean house, clear clutter out of your life. Be thoughtful about how you spend your time, and be discerning when choosing with whom you spend it. Clear out relationships that do not support you. See, I don't know, y'all. I really recommend this deck. I feel like I could not word that any better. I can leave the link to this deck in the description box, because it's dead ass one of my favorites. Alright. I don't even need a clarifying card for that. You can take that. That is your greatest accomplishment for October of 2020. All right, moving forward. So what energies can you harvest throughout October to really make the most of it? The first card that we have is Appetite. Progress, not perfection. Don't compare yourself to others or judge yourself. Instead, focus upon how far you've come and all that you've learned. So there is a really big magnifying glass on some kind of situation or different aspects of your life throughout October that you've been facing for prior months. I feel like it's been building up. It's been getting closer and closer. So the anxiety is kind of rising, but you're almost in like the calm before the storm. And I feel like you've already probably pointed out where you're unhappy with these situations, with yourself, with others, with your job, anything like that. I feel like you've already brought it to attention. Some of you, you're not seeing change in these situations. Spirit's just trying to tell you to kind of take a step back again with this diligence, kind of remove yourself from the situation and allow it to progress organically on its own, because it's not going to be perfect, but things can change, but you cannot force these changes if they're, outside of yourself. If it is something within yourself, I feel like some of you, again, you might be dealing with something chemically imbalanced, with your actual body. I'm not a doctor, but it could be something that's going to progress over time. It might not fully heal on its own, okay, but you're gonna find that taking this step back or removing yourself and doing a detox from the situation is gonna make a big improvement. Apatite is really good stone to wear too if you're looking to lose weight, speed up your metabolism, really help break down those nutrients, retain water, stay hydrated and stuff like that. It's a really good stone for health. It's a beautiful stone as well. And so, that could mean a lot too if you're working on your own health, physical and mental. Okay, what you eat is definitely going to impact you through October, so don't eat too much candy, because that is, Halloween time. Just be aware of that. And don't be too harsh on yourself. Like, one here and there, okay, we're all gonna do it. Maybe you're gonna go out for drinks too, like Halloween parties. Make sure you're doing things in moderation in October. And if you're dealing with toxic people and situations that you have no choice, if there's still someone that's in your life or it's still a job you have to go to every day, do it with moderation, okay? Make sure you're taking time to remove yourself, to detoxify from these kinds of situations, as we talked about with this diligence card, that removal. Clarifying the apatite card, we have Inner Sanctum, Sweet Violet. So this card talks about having your own little sanctuary, kind of removing yourself from situation. This is what I was getting into as far as detoxifying yourself. This card has a very big lesson. I'm also going to read part of the book from this deck as well. This is one of my newer decks that I absolutely love as well. It has become, one of my favorite ones as well as far as oracle decks. It's a really tough tie between this one and the last one, but I'll read part of this. But I do know it talks about removing yourself, giving yourself the time and space that you need to grow. Also, not overexposing yourself. So I feel like this is common with air signs, not only because y'all are air, you love to talk, conversate, you're truthfully honest to the bone, and you could always want to explain yourself before someone can persecute you, or over-explain yourself, or overshare. You could be someone who just opens up all the way right away in relationships, which is beautiful that you allow yourself to do that. But what this card talks about is oversharing, and this could be on social media as well, not sharing too much on social media. Be careful of what you are sharing on social media through October. So I'm going to read part of this book, okay? Again, welcome to Reading Rainbow, right? Oh my gosh. Oh. I do have a lovely voice, so I'm told, so I hope y'all don't mind. I'm only going to read part of it. So obviously this talks about having time alone to really harness maybe some like talents and abilities that you have. If you're really good at singing, acting, dancing, and even if you aren't good at those things, I feel like if you actually use your body to work on those kinds of vibrations throughout the month of October, it's really going to help your body and your mind. Okay, if you move around, make noise, make movements, do the worm, do the wave, I don't know, do something silly, it's really gonna lighten up your vibration and, you know, maybe help with your breathing if you've been having that kind of issue. Let's see, where were we at? This also talks about having an altar. So October, Samhain, you know, Halloween, it's a great time to honor those who have passed, and also, you know, setting up whatever kind of deity you believe in. Let's see. So this also talks about having a face out in public versus the one that you have, you know, while you're all alone. It's okay to have two of those. It's okay to show your face online as a different kind of persona, as long as it's not too deceiving and you're still honoring who you are underneath. But, alright. So you may think that you are being your true, authentic self by fully expressing each thought and feeling out in the world and sharing, well, everything. But overexposure will send truth scurrying. So it's almost like when you overextend your truth or you blurt out everything that is truthful, you know, out into public on social media. When you're first meeting someone, you know, oversharing that kind of stuff can have these people who are receiving it, they could take it and spin it to their own perception, which ultimately can alter your own truth. It's a little bit confusing, I know. I had to read this like twice. But people might take your truth and make it their own, and I feel like energetically that can come back to you or be reflected back to you, and it could just, you know, change that truth as its own. So befriend your truth in the quiet and dark. Become intimate with its contours and inner dimensions before you carry it out in the light. You learn yourself one truth at a time. So the part about it's kind of confusing, honestly. Just be careful not to overshare throughout October, and, you know, sharing too much of your truth, because it will take away the power of your truth. You know, people who are receiving this and seeing it might take it and spin it as their own, and just them perceiving your truth, even without them talking to you, just the way that they're experiencing it is going to energetically affect you, if that makes sense. It's a new kind of concept to me, so maybe that's something worth looking into energetically, but take that for what it's worth. You know, take it as it resonates and leave the rest. Alright, we're about to switch into your mental space, your head space throughout October, into the tarot. Okay. The first card we have is the Four of Wands. So, the Four of Wands is kind of like a home life, a marriage, you know, something that you really, really want to see yourself in long term, or like your end goal, you know, your end goal house or family life and stuff like that. The 1111 also represents soulmates, twin flames, and stuff like that. We also have it beside the Devil. So this paints a little bit of a different picture. So you could feel like you are prevented from, you know, living your best life, really. A lot of this could be, again, that codependency that some of you may be experiencing within your relationships or with your family. A lot of you guys could feel stuck or tied to your home life and your family life. We also have the 10 of Cups right next to that. Man, I can't hold all three of these. Look at that. Years of evolution. Okay, so the Devil in between all of this, you could feel tied to your home life and your family life. Again, you could feel tied to your work. Maybe your work's not serving you. Maybe you feel like you belong somewhere else as well, with the 8 of Pentacles right there. I don't know. This is kind of like, it literally goes throughout your whole entire home life. I feel like there might be something really big happening with you and your family. There could be conflict with the Five of Swords at the end of all of that. You could have a little bit of family drama or drama at work as well. Maybe you're just not satisfied with your job. Maybe your family members aren't satisfied with their job. Maybe like one of your family members has to just overextend themselves, and maybe you see that they don't deserve that. Maybe you want to work harder so your family members can take a little break, or your significant other or your spouse. A lot of you could be still sitting at home. We do live in the real world where there are quarantines. There are people who are kind of chained to their home confinement. So you could feel conflicted. Maybe you want to go back to work. Maybe you want to work on something that you're unable to progress at. Dip into those creative processes that we had here with the inner sanctum. As far as, creating your own space, doing your own thing, moving through your own expression throughout October. Definitely try new things. For those of you too who feel stuck or chained into a certain relationship as well, maybe you really saw things working out in the end. I feel like a lot of you are in a very dreamlike fantasy state where things could be really hard for you to deal with right now. And again, I feel like you're trying to work through these things, but you need to do them slowly. And I feel like, you go through a period of contact with this person or thing, and then you take a break and you remove yourself and you give yourself time to fantasize and envision how it would change over time and whatnot. And then you come back to work on it again, and maybe things haven't changed, so there is still a little bit of that friction or conflict, or that you're just doing your damnedest to make things change. But you can't change other people, okay? You can only change the way that you appear in the situation and how you move through it. And I feel like that's part of what's being tested, and something that you're being forced to face is if this is something that, if you're meant to have it in this life, or it's just meant to serve lessons on both sides and something you come back to, because the devil, does talk about, lovers being chained together. So if you're not meant to be in this life, it's definitely something that's going to teach you lessons with how you show up in your relationships and how you show up for yourself first and then others. Okay, we are moving on to your relationships. So this is your love and relationships. It says, it is safe for you to love. Open your heart to give and receive the highest energy of all. The highest energy of all with love comes from God, source, spirit, and then it goes to you. So you need to learn that it is safe for you to fully love yourself first without, having to confront these other relationships that you have with people, things, objects that you might have codependency with, or habits that make you feel better. All of those external things, you need to learn how it is safe to love yourself first, because I do feel like, again, there is some self-suppression here with the warrior woman. This could be through sexuality, it could be through your own self-expression, anything like that that is internalized, that you might be kind of, telling yourself that you deserve less, or, you only deserve so much. You can take other people's mistakes and kind of fix them, and it's just not something that you want to do consistently over time. Okay, you need to work on yourself, make yourself feel safe with who you are, and alone, without relationships, if you are dealing with codependency. And we also have number 14, the Temperance. So this talks about physical and mental balance. It also represents Sagittarius. I don't know. Okay, well, anyways, it does talk about the balance. there is something about diet here as well, again, that came up earlier. Make sure that you're being conscious of what you're putting into your body. So whether that's what you're eating, what you're drinking, what you're consuming. So just be aware of that. Also, it's a good time to use your body. That can help you move through like relationship stress as well. Maybe if you are seeing someone, you know, and you're being just a little bit back and forth, and you know they're not serving you red flags, it's safe for you to love this person, okay? But give them time, give yourself time, be very flexible with the situation. It's something that's going to take time. You guys could go on like a date as well, where you go and eat, you know, have a drink or two. There are some things though, again, there's something coming up about like if there is a couple of red flags, you guys are kind of turning the other way, turning your cheek, or kind of just ignoring those kinds of things. You might want to sit with them. We have the Four of Pentacles, so this is, you know, being really solid and sitting with what you have, and planning on how to use things in the future. But there is a stark contrast. So for some of you who are in wishy-washy relationships, you might need to kind of remove yourself. Again, that's showing up here in the Four of Pentacles. He is sitting there alone, sitting on what he has. And then we also have, again, another number 4, but this is the Four of Cups. So this is finding stability in your physical world with Pentacles and in your emotional world with Cups. So you need to be able to spend your time alone without having to depend on this other person to fulfill your emotions, or have anyone else, you know, whether that's not even a romantic relationship. You might need to learn on how you can self-sustain yourself on your own. And a lot of you may find that through, you know, stretching, through yoga, through dancing, through working on your own lifestyles. So this could be like, you know, your own talents and abilities or hobbies that you have, or things that you're interested in changing within yourself, finding how you can do that on your own without having to have someone else push you or guide you through that process. And we also have it here with the Page of Swords. So this could be a little bit scary for you at first. The Page is someone who is young and experienced, but since they're so young, the Page is so, what do you call it? They just have so much, like, vigor, and, like, they haven't been disappointed yet. So they have so much, like, hope for the change. And they're like, dead set, they're gonna start this process. So the Page of Swords is someone who actually does their research. You might be talking to new people or friends that you already have. Friends that have been with you while you've been through this energy before the Four of Pentacles, you know, where you're alone in your room for just weeks at a time. Or, you know, you're at the bar and you're just shaking your head and you've just had the rough week and stuff like that. People who've been with you through this all, who have been your foundation, you know, close friends and family that you are meant to rely on. Definitely talk to them, you know, share your stories with them. They can definitely help you figure out how to move that forward. I'm picking up positive relationships that you need to focus on in October of 2020, but they aren't as much so romantic, okay? And these people want you to know it's safe for you to love, it's safe for you to express yourself, and it's safe for you to heal from the situation and move forward, to pick yourself up and learn from these kinds of things. With the Temperance card is all about, you know, self-preservation and healing over time, and, you know, finding that balance. They might want to, you know, go out and dance with you. Your friends and family might. Whether that's in your kitchen or, you know, wherever. Let's see. In those relationships, I feel like you are going to get this self-confidence within yourself. If, you know, if you've been struggling to separate yourself from toxic people and situations, I feel like a part of you is going to stand up for this independency and actually take action towards it. Those small baby steps. You might start, you know, saying things, speaking up for yourself, and actually, you know, being truthful with how you think and how you feel. With this breath card that we have for the overall energy, there's a conversation. There's something that needs to be off your chest, that needs to be addressed and said. And I feel like at the end of the month, you might start to like pipe up and start to face those fears or face those things, no matter how anxious you're getting about them. And you might be worried about how other people are going to react. This could definitely pertain to your job as well. I feel like a lot of you don't want to go to work with the Four of Pentacles. You might just want to sit at home. Some of you could be working at home. And that could still be, you know, you can work from home and still not like your job. All right. We'll move on into the career with that coming up here. Let me just make sure. All right, we still got a little bit of time. Okay. All right. Moving into the career and finance sector for October of 2020. Let's take a look. So the end of the month, like we were talking about, October 31st, you have a full moon in Taurus. Taurus is more of, you know, ruled by Venus, which rules money and love and stuff like that. And your full moon in Aries on the 1st kind of sparks whatever is going on in your relationship. It looks a little bit complicated and it looks a little bit painful. Okay, so you're going to be working through that throughout the month. You guys aren't the only ones having these activations. Just be aware of that. In your career and finance towards the end of the month, I feel like things get better for you with that full moon. So the first card that we have is the Sun card. Represents Leo. I feel like you guys are really good at your job. Whether you like it or not is going to vary, of course. But you're really good at your job. Give it or take, you know. You are really recognized. You perform absolutely amazing. Not everyone might be on the same side as you, of course, you know, because the sun is opposed by the moon. So you could have a little bit of a dark side to the work that you have, or a dark aspect that you don't like or people don't like about you in the workplace. We also have with that the Queen of Pentacles. The Queen of Pentacles is very analytical, again, someone who is very successful at their job, performs absolutely top-notch, top-tier employee of the month. But she knows where things need to improve, how to improve them. And I feel like we also have the Hanged Man here. So the Hanged Man is also about persecution, sacrifice in this deck, and also like corporate kind of controlling things. Or like you might have someone who has a say over what you do and how you perform your job. This person could be like turning down your ideas or the way you want to see the business move forward, even on a small performance level. Even, I mean, you might make mistakes here and there, but they might like crack down the whip harder than you feel is necessary, and that could totally affect, you know, an employee's morale at their job. So I feel like you have new ideas and like new standards even for yourself and how you make money, and not everyone's going to be happy with that, okay? So you could be looking at getting a new job, getting a new career field, moving on from feeling stuck in your job or feeling limited and controlled by your superiors or any kind of protocol at your job. And we also have the King of Cups. So this is kind of like the King of Cups. I mean, he knows a lot of people. He has connections. He is a aficionado. He's a, what do you call him? Socialite. So this is someone who's like into anthropology, who's really rich, who like gives their money out and is just like really lovely and just has a lot of connections. So I feel like you guys might, you know, have a lot of options as far as what you would like to do with your work, and cups are really about what you find emotionally fulfilling. I feel like if you felt stuck in your workplace and you actually, you know, if you worked a little bit of magic, for some of you who are into rituals, I feel like you can really manifest something that you would love to do, something more self-fulfilling. You know, you could like your job right now. It's just the management could definitely be what is destroying your desire to work for them, because you do really well at your job. and like you put your heart and your soul into that work, it's not being reciprocated almost. And so you've almost, been dropped down to your knees begging spirit to give you some other way out. And I feel like throughout the month of October, towards the end of the year, you might have that opportunity. If you manifest hard enough, if you explore more of your options and things that you might not have been comfortable with, putting yourself into situations you might not feel comfortable with. If you haven't applied for a new job in years, if you're new to application processes or applying for jobs you might not even be quite qualified for, I feel like the way that you've shown up in your previous jobs is going to set the foundation for your professionalism and your desire to be an employee, or your appeal to be an employee for companies or businesses. Because, with that King of Cups, like I was saying, we also have the Three of Wands. So the Three of Wands is very... Did y'all hear that? The Three of Wands. So the Two of Wands is about sending, your desires, your passions, and your wishes out into the world. The Three of Wands is actually about that being reciprocated, coming back to you. Of course, you have to put in the work, make the sacrifices, and go through the challenges and, the consistent work that it takes every day to finally see that crop or to see that outcome. I feel like you guys have a really good chance of finding a different job if that's something you're looking for. If you're, set on staying with where you are, if you actually sit down and, sympathize with this management or actually give your 2 cents from a very highly respected standpoint, if you've created a really good name for yourself in the business or shown how good of an employee you are, I feel like there can be some kind of compromise between the King of Cups and the Hanged Man. Definite compromise action going on there that can give you a better sense of fulfillment with your work, that can actually change the way the business functions at a more efficient level. You guys have really, really well thought through ideas and perceptions of your job. I feel like you understand it through in and throughout. And I feel like it just might make the work for you and others easier or more efficient, or just might make more sense than what is going on right now. Alright, yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, good for you guys. I definitely feel like you have some new options or potentials for new options if you're looking to change, where or how you are working, or who, that kind of stuff. Alright, our last category here is your spirituality, your spiritual development, maybe some challenges that you are having along the way. The first card that we have is Wait. Now, if that's not a really good caption of what's been said throughout the oracle cards, really. The wait period is kind of a slowdown, of course, with this diligence we've had as far as removing yourself, giving yourself time, patience, and removal, not making any kind of quick actions quite yet. I feel like with this wait period that you're kind of in, the calm before the storm, the suppressed fears that you're having, the reason you have wait to make any kind of movements on these situations is the Four of Swords. How are you dealing with these anxieties that are coming up? There's a sword literally just like hanging above him. That thing could slip out and kill him, okay? Like, for real. And he's just sitting there so calm and peaceful, really at peace. Literally has his hands in prayer, so you could be talking to your spirit guides, or your spirit guides are definitely trying to talk to you with how you're moving through these challenges and these really heavy energies that you might be feeling, especially in your chest, in your breathing. You could have sleeping problems, you could have having sleep apnea. Spirit's saying, slow down, take a rest. I say this every time to everyone in every reading, to meditate, Okay, everyone's always tired of hearing that, but it literally does wonders. And that's actually what's being represented throughout these cards with the breath and the Four of Swords. So definitely take time to slow down, address yourself in the way that you're dealing with, you know, these overwhelming feelings. I'm also getting like the detox. Sorry, I took a long pause. You know, sometimes the messages cut off. But make sure you're taking time to rest. If you've been physically exhausted throughout this month, I feel like you guys are definitely gonna feel a little bit of that. There is time to retreat and, you know, have time alone with yourself in a positive way, in a constructive way. Oh yeah, there's literally 3 4s, and they're all about rest, finding stability within yourself, and literally taking a time back alone. And I feel like if you take a moment of silence with yourself, you're gonna get really clear messages from Spirit as well. Very, very clear. We also have the Queen, I don't know what pronoun to use. Well, we have Libra here, which is your sign moving into the month of October. This is the Justice card. So with the Four of Wands and the Justice, again, this is like kind of messages from Spirit. A rebalance coming through, equilibrium with yourself between your mind, your body, and spirit, and really feeling rejuvenated. But there's also this truth that's like looming over your head again, that we're getting this weight with. You know, there's these situations that are just looming over you that you really want to act on and find a resolution, you know, an answer for, or an equal give and take with relationships, or some kind of healing process that you're really wanting to embark on. And Spirit's just kind of, you know, kind of has that on the bumper of things. Spirit's kind of just testing you with how you allow yourself to mentally deal with all of these. Are you, you know, facing the issue? Are you still turning your cheek? Are you kind of still making excuses or looking the other way for people's actions, your actions or your own responses or those of others? We also have the Page of Cups. Sorry. The Page of Cups here with that kind of, you know, going off on that tangent about relationships. And the Libra card, so the equal give and take between your relationships. This is also, you know, cleaning yourself of codependencies, of addictions, of mindsets that you keep putting yourself in that are very self-restrictive, self-restricting. With that Two of Wands, like I said, you know, earlier we had the Three of Wands for your career and finances about this returning. So this is what you're sending out, the Two of Wands. As you see, he is overlooking with the globe. This could definitely be with your relationships. Two of Wands and the Page of Cups. Again, with this exploration card, for some of you who I feel like have gone through this relationship experience in the last couple of months, or maybe throughout October, things that might not be energetically matching up with you or serving you correctly, you need to explore other options. You know, if you're dead set on this person, that can be hard to hear, especially if it's something that's not meant for this lifetime, that we had with the Devil and the Four of Wands. Sorry, I only have so many fingers. So dealing with the fact that, you know, this might not be for this lifetime, or this might be something that you've been going through with a person or a thing, or, you know, some kind of addiction in multiple lifetimes that you are meant to overcome in this lifetime. You're meant to reach out, to grow, to send your energy out further and higher to overcome these kinds of dependencies or traits that you've had within yourself that you might slowly return to, or you might overcome and be clear of for, you know, a few months, and then you might find yourself returning to those old habits. You're meant to finalize those with the Justice card. You're meant to put an end to it. Put the gavel down and say no. But you're still in this Four of Swords energy. It's okay if you're still going through these processes. It's okay if you're still going back to these situations. I mean, to an extent, you know, you shouldn't be putting yourself through abusive relationships or things that are completely, you know, use your discernment. If you're still mentally processing these lessons, the way you're moving through them, how to deal with them, the way you're showing up and other people are showing up in this situation, it's okay if you're still analyzing that, because there's a lot to be learned from it. And it's not only on your side, but it could also be with the people that are involved, or your own soul development in this lifetime, in this world, as far as finding, you know, what you're passionate about doing and how to, you know, incorporate that into your actual career and work life. All right. Wow. All right. I mean, yeah, I love doing these videos. I love doing the horoscope videos for some reason. We're gonna draw one rune to kind of get an overview of your guys' month for October. I just bought these, so I'm new to runes, so I'm gonna have to like look at the explanation. But air signs, Geminis, Libras, and Aquarius, what is your rune for October of 2020? What is your overall message for October of 2020? Let's see what we got. Let's see what we're working with. We have Thorizas. Forgive me if I pronounce this wrong. So this is the letter TH, you know, and it's the element of fire, strength in facing difficulty or a powerful enemy. Yikes. Okay. So the powerful enemy, like again, you yourself could be your biggest enemy, is what I was saying earlier with this warrior woman. You could be suppressing yourself, making excuses for yourself and for others just to get yourself through the situation and to avoid having to take, you know, a scary or unexplored path that could potentially, you know, have greater reward than where you're at right now. This enemy could be someone you live with, could be family, could be those close to you, could be a significant other that you are living with that does not serve you. And not like, I don't mean it to sound that way, but like, they're just not good for you. They aren't. And you already know that. But this is supposed to help give you strength with facing those powerful enemies, whether they're yourself, others, people you work with, your job, moving through the world as it is today. The world's not the best place, but we can definitely make the most of it. Alright, yeah. So I'm new to runes. Sorry if I don't get like a lot of messages, but I think that's pretty cool at clarifying that you guys definitely are up against some big energies throughout October and throughout the end of the year. And I'll be interested to see how the other signs play out. You guys were the first element that I did since we are entering with Libra in October. So best wishes to you guys. If this video resonated with you, please let me know down in the comments. I love to read them. I love to see what's going on with you. You can give the video a like or subscribe to actually vote to see what videos I post next. And find me on other social media sites. It's all of that information as well as personal readings are in the description box. So thank you guys for joining me. Love you guys, and I will see you next time.